Alright guys, so we got more SPL action week 9, so probably the last of the week 9s that I'm going to do, but it says ISO vs Earthworm, very very good GSC OU game. I've already seen it. I don't really remember what happens too much, but I know who wins and who loses, and I kind of have a general idea what goes on, so if that affects how I narrate it, then so be it, but this was just too good of a game to pass up because, unlike the last time I did GSCOE, where both players played stall and played rather defensive, and it was like 300 turns or something. This is a pretty short game, and GSC is pretty fun when both players bring offense and both players don't play like pussies. But again, that's neither here nor there. Both these guys very accomplished, so let's go ahead and get it in. So Ice is gonna lead Nidoking. I believe Earthworm leads Zapdos. Yep, there's Zapdos. Um, this is bad for Nidoking, but it's also kind of bad for Zapdos, unless Zapdos has the. Actually, no, HP Ice hits Nidoking super effectively. For some reason, ooh, that Thunder looks sick, dude. Did you see that? Like, he got zapped, but, like. Yeah, for some reason, I thought poison resisted water, but. The ground got zapped. Snorlax, Bob, and Weaves there. And Lax is just gonna curse up. Lax, as long as no crits happen, then Lax can just rest up the following turn. But Thunder misses, so now Lax can immediately threaten out Zapdos and not have to rest. Steelix is gonna be the answer though. There's Double Edge. Actually, funny story. I don't know if you guys have read Mr. E's post on why Double Edge is bad. Like, this dude literally went insane over a move in a game that's 15 years old now. He just went off. He was right. He got us an essay. He wrote us an introduction, a body paragraph, a conclusion, had a thesis statement supporting statements. Like, this dude went off on why Double Edge is bad, and then I forget, it was like week 7 or week 8. I catch this dude. He was using Double Edge Lax, and I'm like, bro, you wrote us an essay, dude. You wrote us a research paper. This dude had sources cited and everything, and it's like, then you're just gonna use it. Like, after he made that post, it's like you can't use Double Edge Lax, even if it's actually one of the situations where Double Edge Lax is optimal. Like, you just can't use it now after that. But he did use it, so shout outs to Mystery. But now we're on turn 7. We're back in on Lax v Zapdos, and Zapdos is content to Thunder away, and Lax is content to curse up because, yeah, after the next one, Lax can rest. I'm expecting a rest right here. As Thunder ends up missing again, yeah, Ice is going to rest. So Earthworm's gotten slightly unlucky with the Thunders. I believe he's hit 2, missed 2. So that's 4 Thunders used. Gotta make sure. Thunder only has 16 PP in this gen, right? I don't remember, but you gotta make sure to conserve your PP. Of course, this is an easy switch in for Steelix. And we saw Roar on Steelix. I believe we've also seen Curse on the Steelix. If not, then we'll see it later. And there it is right there. EQ is a given. The last move is really what's the tricky move on Steelix, because rest is cool. In fact, well, you can rest up, you can survive longer, and you can rely on recovery that isn't just raw leftovers. And then Explosion is also cool because, obviously, especially with some curse boost up, Explosion is always powerful. So Roar comes out. Both these players, by the way, have been very stingy with their information. Like, we're 12 turns in, and we just saw the third one from Isa due to a Roar in Fortress. So I didn't point that out earlier, but both these players playing very well in regards to, like, holding their cards in and not giving their opponent the upper hand as far as letting your opponent figure out what wands you have, revealing your cards too early. I just want to point that out right now because otherwise I would have forgotten about it. But yeah, now Ice is going to reveal a 4th with Eggy. Earthworm is going to go to Zapdos right there, and Zapdos is obviously very good at threatening out Eggy. Fortunately, Lax is pretty high health, and it's already burned a rest turn, so Zapdos doesn't really care. HP Ice comes down. And now then a Thunder comes down right after that, and now Lax curses up, and now Earthworm once again just goes back to Steelix. Once again, 15 turns in, Earthworm has only revealed Zapdos and Steelix. Now, granted, in competitive GSC OU, we're going to see a Lax, and we've already seen the Electric from Earthworm, so those are the two givens. There's the next one in Cloyster. To take advantage of the sleeping Snorlax, lay a Spike down. Spikes is huge in GSC, because even though it's only one layer, because the gen is so fat, especially with more offensive-oriented teams, that layer of Spikes is just big and wearing down your opponent. And now Steelix can come in and Steelix can just roar it out. The crit kind of burns, especially if it's Explosion, but I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. Especially because I don't think this Lax has EQ. Let's see, we've seen Curse, Rest, Double Edge. What would the last move be? Obviously, it's not Fire Blast. Might be Self-Destruct, might be Thunder, might be Shadow Ball. Does Lax get Shadow Ball in GSC? I believe it does. So maybe that's a sign. Well, no, it doesn't matter because Gengar doesn't have Levitate, so you just run EQ anyway. So what does Monolax run? Sometimes they run like Belly Drum, but if you're Drumlax, then you legitimately don't have a reason to run Double Edge. If you're Drumlax, just run Body Slam and return. So I don't know what Ice's last move is, but anyways, Earthworm is gonna curse up right here and try and trade Lax with Steelix, which is always gonna be good for the non-Lax user. And Isa realizes this and goes to Exeggutor to get out of dodge. Gonna go for Giga Drain right here. Smart little play because it's gonna dent Steelix, and Zapdos is more than likely to switch in. Zapdos is almost always, if not 100% always Sleep Talk, so anytime there's something like a Gengar and Exeggutor, ooh, that's a nice play from Isa. Trading Zapdos for Exeggutor, I think that's gonna be really good for Isa. Especially because he has a Nidoking too, which is just what I was saying, that Zapdos is very typically the sleep absorber on teams that carry Zapdos, because it has Rest Talk almost always. And that's not to say that other mons don't have Rest Talk, but Zapdos is the most common carrier of it, and it switches well into the mons that go to snooze or put things to sleep. So being able to trade Zapdos for that means that Isa can put something to sleep with Nidoking more than likely, especially because Nidoking is probably going to be faster than Isa's remaining mons unless he has something rare like Double Electric, or Starmie, although that's highly unlikely because he has Cloyster. Yeah, I have a feeling that Nidoking is about to be really dangerous, especially because ooh, nice play from Earthworm right there. Predicting and baiting out Lovely Kiss, switches to Exeggutor, and then switches to Cloyster. The problem is, though, is that Nidoking can sit in here and just gain leftovers and very passively get back its HP that Cloyster dealt to it with Surf. Because, I mean, that trade worked out very well for Isa because Cloyster's not going to kill, and Nidoking can just sit here and just passively gain lefties. So there's Curse. Did Isa predict Lax? Probably. At the very least, he predicted Exeggutor. So either way, T-Tar works out pretty well there. But he's actually Cursed, so that doesn't make as much sense. But I guess he predicted Lax. So Curse, and these two are gonna curse each other. Like a bunch of old dudes that were in Vietnam or something. I need to stop, but there's another curse. There's EQ after leftovers. That's doing a third. There's another curse from Isa, and it should be another EQ here from Earthworm. Unfortunately, these EQs are kind of hurting Isa, so there's Rock Slide. Rock Slide's gonna do a decent chunk after. Well, I mean, it's doing 31 plus 6. That's like 25. After lefties, yeah, 25 right there. So that's a 4-hit KO. Isa going for the flinch right there. Gets a high roll. Does he get the flinch? Yes. So that puts Isa in a fantastic position right now. That bit of luck was huge because obviously if that rock slide flinch didn't happen, then bye bye T-Tar, and then more than likely, unless some other luck happened, then bye bye Isa. It depends on what the last is. If the last is like an electric and it gets a high roll, maybe, but who knows. And yeah, there's EQ right there. That's pretty assumed considering that we didn't see roar from T-Tar earlier. If Cursed Tar doesn't roar, it's usually EQ rock slide coverage instead. But Earthworm's gonna make a smart plane switch out here, and I'm gonna pause this real quick. So on that play, I saw this video from Callus's channel before. By the way, shout outs to Callus. He's alive and well. That's the super homie right there. But he thought that Lax switching out earlier was a misplay. I disagree with that. I think Earthworm made the correct play right there. I don't necessarily agree with how he did it, so I'm gonna step back a little bit. Okay, here we go. We're back. Alright, so flinch happens. That's unfortunate. So I defend Earthworm on this particular play. Because what happens is here's Lax. Lax is the best mon in this gen without question. Lax is just top dog. And what's gonna happen is that Isa's unrevealed or his Nidoking, either or, is basically gonna revenge kill Lax at this point. So you figure that 31's probably on the lower side for the rolls. So Rock Slide comes down, even if it doesn't like flinch or die or whatever. That's gonna leave Lax. Let's assume it does 31 on the low side. That's gonna leave Lax at like 20 after lefties. I don't think Nidoking, like Thunder or something, can come in and revenge kill, but certainly something like an Electric can come in and revenge kill. Ice's last actually turns out not to be an Electric, which is very rare. I'm not going to reveal what it is, but either way, it would have been able to come in and revenge kill the Lax regardless. So, in that facet, it doesn't matter. So, what Earthworm decides to do is say, you know what, I can force Tyranitar out anyways with Exeggutor, so I can just save Lax for later, and anytime there's a Lax, there's a way in GSC. So conserving Lax right there was by far I think that was a smart play right there. I don't agree with Callus's take that that was a misplay, because having a Lax that's healthy is way more important than having T-Tar dead on the other side. In GSC, that's why GSC takes a while, because typically things go a little more conservative. He goes to Steelix right here. This is the part that I don't agree with, because I feel like you sack Cloyster and then go to Eggy. Now obviously that allows Nidoking to go put something to sleep now, but at the same time just you lose Steelix right here. Once again, Earthworm makes the correct I don't know if that's the correct play or not, going for, I guess it doesn't matter unless you crit, but I feel like you have to go for the crit because T-Tar is... Well, did T-Tar reveal Roar right there? T-Tar hadn't revealed Roar yet, but at the same time I feel like Earthworm could assume that, considering that T-Tar didn't roar out earlier. So I think Earthworm could assume that there was no Roar from Tar, but I feel like he should have just sacked Cloyster, because Steelix is important in checking Lax, and it's like, yeah, something goes to sleep, but putting something to sleep, but being able to contain Snorlax is, in my opinion, a bigger deal, especially because I think his last is Rest Talk Vappy, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong, but if it actually is Rest Talk Vappy, then that's by far a misplay from Earthworm. We'll see a little bit later, but I'm pretty sure it's Rest Talk Vappy. Oops, spoilers, but whatever. But now Egg is going to be able to come in. Tar's forced out, obviously. Earthworm is obligated to Giga Drain. No reason to mess around with Sleep Powder, especially when we can just do it the following turn. Here's Fortress, and Fortress probably just spikes up right here. He goes to Lax, actually, on the predicted Sleep Powder, I guess. And Sleep Powder's going to miss. So Isa has gotten a little lucky in this game. Not overly lucky, but just enough to influence the outcome. And I don't know why Ice is doing this. All he's doing is just letting Lax take spikes damage that it doesn't need to take. Like, that whole sequence is just like really pointless. Like, this is why I don't really like Fortress in this gen, um, because it, especially on these types of teams. I think Fortress on like stall and stuff is cool, but on these types of offensive teams, Fortress just lags behind in momentum, and then it just becomes sleep fodder. Especially if there's no like Zapdos or something to be the dedicated sleep fodder, which Isa does not have. Like I said, I'm not going to reveal which Mond it is, but um, he does not have some sort of dedicated sleep fodder. And now Fortress is just going to lose momentum. Hazards are still down, no hazards are up, and Fortress is low and asleep, and that's what Fortress's life has become. And now Lax has to take more spikes damage and Giga Drain, and now Iggy continues to be healthy. And Earthworm is just going to Giga Drain right here. I guess he wants to save Psychic PP, wants to scout for something. I don't know what the reason is for Psychicing over Giga Drain, but it's whatever. I don't think it would have mattered regardless. But now Earthworm's in a good spot right here because you have 2 turns. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up just a tad, because now you have 2 turns to try and fish for Spit F drops. Let's see if Earthworm gets them. It doesn't get them, so that's unfortunate. I'm going to go ahead and put it back on slow, and I think Earthworm has no reason just to stay in. I mean, he could in theory boom trade, but I don't think he has to make that play right now. Especially because we see Lax with double edge, and it's not going to appreciate recoil plus psychic. And I think he's gone for like 4 or 5 psychics right now. Eventually he's bound to get a Spit F drop. There's one, but it's on the turn that Lax rests. No, Lax decides knows the stuff to double edge right there. Unfortunately for Isa, unless he plays really well as far as like predicting is concerned, then that Isolax is as good as dead. But at the same time, being able to say bye-bye to the Aegilax, or being able to get rid of Aggie is cool. So Ice is going to fodder off Lax right there, and there's the loss, which is Vaporeon. So like I said earlier, it's not an electric, but Vaporeon still stands in the point as far as Earthworm switching out Lax right there, and he still has his Lax. And it's at half health now, so Lax is still alive, still left to do his thing. Ice is up 4-3, and Lax has to get out of there because especially if that's Acid Armor Vaporeon, then Lax does not want to stay in for that business. So Ice is able to predict that switch and go for growth. That nice play from Isa. And Earthworm reveals his last, which is also a Vappy, like I also mentioned. And now they're going to start the growth train, and depending on the sets, this could be really dangerous. Ice is going to be Hydro Pump. That does half, so a Vaporeon just gets clocked. Vaporeon is also going to... Earthworm Vaporeon is going to go for the growth, so now they're both at +3. There's another Hydro Pump. Ice has to be kind of careful because it's still a 3-hit KO. And... yeah, still a 3-hit KO, and I've already used 2 Hydro Pumps. You only have 6 left. So, there's 2.5 to 2.5. Ice, or Earthworm's not going to go for Sleep Talk, so I'm guessing he's not Sleep Talk Vappy after all. For some reason I said he was, but I guess he's not. And there's another Hydro Pump. There's 4 in a row for the hit. So if Isa can win the speed tie right here and hit the Hydro, then I think that's a good game. Earthworm's going to win the speed tie, though, and he's going to be able to get off another rest. So Earthworm's also in a good spot because not only is his Vappy also at +3, but he's stalling Isa out of these Hydro Pumps while Earthworm hasn't used an attack himself. Earthworm does show later on to have Surf regardless, but being able to stall, like whether he gets Surf or Hydro Pump, stalling Isa out of Hydros with Vaporeon is always good. We haven't seen if Isa is carrying a coverage move in Ice Beam, or if he's carrying something like Acid Armor, or if he is Rest Talk. We don't know. So Hydro Pump's gonna go off. It's gonna fail. Earthworm goes for rest right there again, just stalling Hydros. And he ends up winning that speed tie right there. It doesn't matter. And after leftovers, Hydro Pump still isn't to a KO. And now Ice is gonna get out of there, go to Nidoking, predicting rest, I believe. I don't think Earthworm. Ooh, goes for growth. That if speed ties went down, that could have been really questionable, but works out for Earthworm because now Vaporeon is a threat. Isa just goes for Thunder right here, and that para is really unfortunate. Like, that just sucks. Because I think Isa probably lost at that point, to be honest. I mean, unboosted Tar, I think, still outspeeds Vaporeon. Oh, it's Vaporeon. T-Tar 61 and Vaporeon 60, I believe. So, assuming that Thunder hits, Isa could still force out Vaporeon, but unless Earthworm pulls off some miracles with Snorlax, the game looks really grim now. With the para. And yeah, now what this allows Isa to do is now he has the opportunity to curse. Had there been no para, Isa wouldn't have had the opportunity to curse up with the T-Tar, because now it's still faster and now he can just go for Earthquake as opposed to having to risk the Rock Slide. So I'm not saying that Isa was guaranteed to lose if the para didn't happen, but it greatly aided Isa's chance, which, after considering how good this game was, I mean, Isa got a little bit lucky throughout the game, but that was pretty game-changing, which is just unfortunate. So there's an EQ coming out. Damage roll might be able to kill it. No, it gets a lower roll with the 25. I think the max is like 29 or something. I don't know though. First one did 28, so maybe a 30 would have popped out and killed Tar. But either way, Lax was low, and then, well, Isa only had 2 Hydros, 1 or 2, I don't remember. So maybe something would have happened if a crit EQ came out, if a high roll. But none of those things happened. Those are all hypothetical scenarios, and T-Tar is able to take the sweep. Isa with the 3-0, but it's a lot closer than that because obviously T-Tar is low with the curse boost. Fortress is asleep and at half health. And even if it does wake up, we all know Fortress isn't doing jack shit because Fortress is trash. And then Vaporeon only had 2 Hydros left, and Ice Beam is a thing, but it's not very common. Like, typically they're gonna carry, like, if they're not Rest Talk, then they're gonna carry Acid Armor as their extra move with Vaporeon. So if Vaporeon was just mono Hydro Pump, then like I said, maybe a crit EQ came out right there on the Tar. Earthworm could have easily reverse swept with Snorlax. But none of those things happened, and Isa is able to take the win. So I know I didn't sound very enthralled because I've already seen the game, but it was still a very well played game from both sides. I liked how both these guys played it. And this is an example of how fun GSC can be when both guys bring offense. That's the conclusion that I've come to, because there was a period in time when I liked GSC, and there's a period of time when I absolutely hated GSC. Now I've come to the conclusion that GSC is fun when both players are skilled and both players bring offense. Any other time, GSC is trash. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and after this we're going to get some playoff action going on. So again, hope you all enjoy, and see you guys later.